What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel. Today's video, we got a full game commentary that might be a game of the year for me candidate. And this is a rematch, one of many rematches against my arch nemesis, Seeve. Now, if you guys haven't checked out Seeve before, he is a player that has been in empty all year long. I did a YouTube upload several months back, early on in the year. And the truth is, this man has had my number all year long. I think at this point in time when we played this game going into this, he was like 6 and maybe 2 against me. So me having 2 wins to 6 losses, he has just had my number. So when we matched up, this was a game that I knew right away I needed to change some things about the way that I approach playing defense against this man. So let's go ahead and get into the tape here. I got a full game commentary. Let's lock in with this. So the thing with this player is that when you play somebody that is in empty, I think it's very imperative that you send pressure. And for me, you guys know that I'm more of a 4-man base rush, use the adjustments for coverage purposes. You can see right here, I'm setting up my over G. I'm kind of like at this point in time going through it in my head about whether or not I want to, run this. And, I actually end up pretty quickly in this game saying it's insanity. I cannot go through the same process against this player that's led me to being basically 2-6. He is a player that gets the ball out, takes his checkdowns, knows how to manipulate coverage. And truthfully, I told my chat in this game, I was like, I can't stop this guy. I have not stopped this guy. So you see right here, I immediately decide that I'm going to make changes and I'm going to run a different defense. Now, in this first rep, I come out in the over G, just kind of set the tempo a little bit. He is in a different version of the empty than what you saw at the beginning when I kind of showed you the earlier YouTube video. The primary difference being that he has a detached tight end. Now, what he also does well is what I said, he takes his checkdowns. But at this point in the year, we are playing the bing bong game. Bing bong. And we were able to force a fumble on our first play for a touchdown. So kind of talking about in general the way that Madden has been played this year, we kind of talk about the fact that with this game, you started off with kind of a zone KO meta. Then all of a sudden they started to discount certain offensive abilities, one of which was short out elite, which most players use for the purpose of beating man press. The other benefit is that it gives you catch and traffic bonuses 0 to 10 yards outside the hash marks, not the numbers, the hash marks. So that is a wide patch of the field. That is the check down territory. It is the primary area of the field that so many players like to throw the football. So I kind of determined that, if I'm going to use flat zone KO and it's going to be inconsistent, there's really no purpose to using it. So what I decided to do with this particular scheme and all my schemes in general is, okay, if they're going to throw the flat and it's going to be caught in traffic, we might as well be able to force fumbles, right? Or if they're going to throw wide open checkdowns in the flat to the running back or the quick throws to the tight end in the flat, let's make them think about that. Let's make them worry about getting yards after the catch, make them lay down. So their 5-yard to 7-yard check down is now 3. So you see right here, I'm actually finishing up the last touches on subbing in some players here, and I'm going to be running the 3-3 odd with my favorite coverage package attributed to that. And you see right away, he's like, oh, okay, he's in a set that pressures me. And he immediately gets out of empty, which kind of told me off rip, okay, he doesn't like this automatically. Just right off the top, he runs the ball against this. And I'm thinking, okay, this is something that I think I should run against him. Now, fortunately, or really unfortunately, I'm flipped the wrong way here. So I have to run this defense with auto flip off in order to run it effectively. And what I end up doing here is I try to apply some basic coverage principles. I want to run some inverted 3 match. I want to run some regular match. I want to set up some hybrid coverages. I want to do some random man ups. I want to try to get pressure on him and make adjustments that will make him kind of look at things just a little bit longer, which can lead to those throughout a sack animations, potentially a huge game-changing turnover, like the one we already have on the forced fumble on the first play. So you see right there, I kind of go in, I turn auto flip off. I want to run this specifically in this direction. And we go to work with kind of setting up our adjustments. Now, again, with this, the thing that you'll definitely notice is that he is an absolute wizard as it pertains taking his checkdowns. He's very smart. You see right here, he's going to throw that whip. And I about got another fumble right there. If I had hit the right angle, that ball's coming out. We're probably looking at being up 7-0 with ball. But nonetheless, you're just going to notice that as far as it goes empty, I think Seeve is probably the best empty player that I've faced this year. You see right here, he's going to go throw it away. He actually had a touchdown down the right seam right there, but we were able to force that pressure. Again, that's the benefit of using a defense like this, is that you don't have a lot of time. So maybe he's not looking deep with this, as opposed to a base 4-man rush that, you require sheds. That could be a situation where, he's going to have confidence and he'll start his read down the field. So here we go, back into the offense. He's going to throw it underneath. And again, you see that you always have to worry about those fumbles out there in the flat. So he doesn't really go into that tackle. He just kind of takes his first down. Greg Jennings moves the chains. You see right here that the formation that he is in is the gun flex tray. This is a formation, again, that is empty with 4 receivers, 1 running back. And there is no attached tight end, which makes this ripe for the picking as it pertains sending pressure. There will be very few snaps in this game where I'm not trying to get some sort of pressure. You see right here, we're getting around. We get to throw out a sack, and fortunately for him, there's nobody there to pick it off. But we are there nonetheless, 2nd down and 10. Again here, setting this up. The downside to this defense, I will say, is it's a really, really good defense. And the one weakness is that you have to run it this direction in order for it to work out its best. There's some other nuance that leads towards consistency in the way the blitz works. And you see right here, he does get time, and he's able to find that seam route that he missed a couple plays earlier. So I think that's the hallmark of a smart Madden player. A lot of times when you have a touchdown on a play, players have this tendency to go right back to it right away. Some players will kind of save that dot for later on. Another thing I'm noticing here is I'm looking at his roster. Maybe a little dated. He's using that Tom Brady item. A lot of players are coming back to Madden a little bit later in the year to finish rookie premieres and do the season 5 field pass to get tokens and strategy items and things for Madden 24. So I definitely have a little bit of an advantage in terms of the roster, just looking at this right off the bat. So 7-7, this has got a long way to go. And one of the things that I was kind of telling chat in the middle of this game was that this is really one of the few guys that I just absolutely positively cannot stop. Now, we talk about roster differences. You see Devin Hester able to bounce to the outside. A lot of times when your roster is inferior, the special teams will show because you don't have the depth at the linebacker. You're rocking those low 90s, the high 80s type players as backup items. If he's starting, Tom Brady at quarterback, there's potential, and I was able to bounce that to the outside and pick up a touchdown. Now, you see right there, we have our 35% off the yearly membership. The Gridiron Gameplans Madden 24 presale is active. This offer ends August 1st, guys. Please take advantage of this. If you guys pay $9.95 a month, going month to month on the website, that's $120 a year. You can get the same amount of content over those 12 months for just $75. That includes weekly vault updates. That includes our offensive and defensive game plans, complete with updates as I run those offenses and defense throughout the year. And the metas shift and the AP values change. Keep you on top of what I'm constantly doing from an AP standpoint. And also access to our Discord channel where we have live lab sessions every single week. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. $75 offer ends August 1st. Now back to work here for Seeve. He's again in this flex empty formation. He motions in this running back in the slot. Now, something that I picked up on in this game is that when he does that, it's for one of two reasons. Either he is going to try to open up the whip to the outside and use the outside receiver to drive the cloud flat or the deep zones on the sideline off, and then that whip has more room to work back to the outside. Or he'll motion in for the purpose, if he's on a hash mark, to try to set up some beaters. You saw that seam route was open. A lot of that has to do with being on a hash mark. So when he's in between the hashes, I'm less worried about the one-play touchdowns because he doesn't have as many people lined up inside the numbers. But when he's on a hash, I have to be really, really worried about him going to heavy seam work because that changes how the zone safeties flow in the middle of the defense. A lot of players don't rep their offense on the hash marks, and they don't rep their offense in between the hash marks to see the differences in their route combos against the same coverages. But as long as I've got him in between the hash marks, this plays to my advantage because you get less consistency and you get a lot more opportunities for players to break on throws that they otherwise wouldn't break on if they were on a hash. You get dedicated assignments when you're on hash marks. So you see right here, I mix up the coverage, man up, and I was just really bad with the user right there. Too low on that. I was kind of expecting an in route, to be honest with you, underneath, because I've been dropping that linebacker on the right side of the screen deep. So I was kind of thinking something shallow was going to come over the middle, so my user got hung out a little bit low right there. Other than that, the coverage was perfect, just my user was bad. So you see right here, again, Going back to the outside on that whip. This is, the second time he's hit that outside receiver on the whip pattern. He does a good job, man. I mean, it's just so hard for me to get a read on what he wants to do play to play. And he's always spacing the field well. Now, again, he's on a hash mark here, so you have to be aware of this. You see he motions Rice inside. This is important. You have to know these things about this game. When he motions him in, now all of a sudden we've got players that are all lined up inside the numbers. That changes how the zones flow. You see right there that I had to man up Jerry Rice to make sure that he did not get open for the deep ball down the right seam. Again, if you go back and take a look at that, I'll see if I can actually do that here for you. You can actually see that as I totally fumble this here. You can totally see here that with this particular play, the safety that's in the middle third on this is responsible for going to the left. And you see that opens up the seam on the right. So I had to make sure that Jerry Rice was manned up on that play to make sure that we could get a stop. So 3rd down and 1 here for Seeve. Tough. It's really, really tough right here for me. And the reason is, I mean, we don't know which players are running the whips. He throws whips to the outside receivers. He throws whips to the inside receivers. He attacks the seams well. He mixes in a shallow cross. Again here, Jerry Rice inside. Have to be worried about double seams. He takes the outside check down. Again, when he's on a hash mark, I have to respect certain things, which gives up other things, which is tough on a 3rd down and 1. I can't give up a touchdown when he does that little short motion inside. So he has really good working knowledge of how to run an empty set, how to set up the quick throws down the seam that get vertical quickly. A lot of players want to, run double corners and things like that. Those are 3-4 second plays. The way that he can attack is because he's got 5 lanes that can go vertical or check down, and they can get open quickly due to the way that you have so many players that get into their routes quickly. It can pull a safety very, very fast and open up a seam on the backside. That's the benefit of running an empty formation. The downside is just what I'm trying to attack right here. When you have 5 pass protectors, if I have a blitz that can get home a fair amount, it's going to put me in a good spot. But you see right here, he motions in Jim Taylor. So again, I have to worry about him getting vertical in the seam here on 1st and 10. So I'm starting to hybridize my coverage. I'm really worried about that backside seam. You see I man up Jim Taylor, get a little chuck on him, and he throws the whip to the outside. Again, really good rep right there by him. If you were to take a look, you see that because of the way his offense plays, my vertical hook gets busy jamming him, which allows him to throw the out route. He just has a great understanding of what zones do. A lot of players think that, these off-meta offenses, there's not a lot that goes into, it's just random. And I think it's more so that's random to them because they run the meta. When you play a guy like Seeve, you're getting a full attack that he understands how to horizontally stretch the field, how to vertically stretch the field, and he drives me insane. I always tell my chat, it's like when I play him, I'm always kind of on tilt, but it's tilt to myself. In terms of like him as a player, I respect the hell out of him. I think he is one of the better passers in the community for what he runs because, it's not compressed. It's hard to space the field. Again, another check down in the flat. He just does a good job staying on schedule. Right here, 118 yards on 10 completions, 15 attempts. I've got him really in a check down situation right now. He is having to get the ball out quickly, but it's just every once in a while, I focus on that short ball and then boom, he hits me in the seam. Again, Jerry Rice in here on the slot. You see that I'm trying to kind of scramble a little bit to get my coverage right. Right here, we run a pretty good coverage. I think right there, that might have been cover 6 match on that. And fortunately for me, his route combo was not set up to beat that. So we get him on 2nd down and 10. The other thing you notice with him as he plays through this is that he does a really good job of throwing the ball away when there's nothing. Because he has players in both flats, he can click the stick to throw it away, whether it's a flat, a whip, whatever it is, a smoke, an out route. He can click the stick to throw it away, every play. Right there, just about a split second late. I was expecting the shallow cross from underneath. I just wasn't there fast enough. But again, part of that is due to the fact that he's in a spread empty formation. My user has to respect that vertical release compared to, say, compression formations where everything's in tight. The reads have to be made faster. And then you see right there, he goes back. This time, he caught me in a match coverage, and he hits a corner route. The last time he threw the ball away, he had 2 streaks in a flat. That time, he turned that inside streak into an outbreaking route, took the leverage advantage against the safety, and was able to throw the first down. I'm sorry, not the first round, the touchdown. So he's up. Let's go ahead and kick it off. I'm back on offense, and we've got work to do. 14-14. The other thing here that you have to consider is that, I haven't had the ball yet. So I got that fumble on the first play. We got the kick return. And he's able to answer both of those tough plays with touchdown drives of his own that were very good. So here we go. 3 minutes to go in the first half, my first touch, and he runs over G. Now, fortunately for me, he runs something I'm familiar with. I understand how to kind of run the ball on all the fronts in the game. I do get kind of a reputation in the community for being someone who just runs in praise and relies on a Derrick Henry item. But you'll notice in a lot of these cases, my run blocking is pristine, especially when we play like Dollar and 3-3 Cub and some of those defenses, right? Over G, though, is a very good run defense. It's one of the primary reasons I run it. I think it's got the most potential as a coverage scheme. It's got all the match plays that you need. It's got 3 safety rule. It's got really everything. And then in terms of a blitzing formation, when you show blitz, it kind of works its way into like kind of like a, I don't want to say like a 6-2, but you get the 4 down linemen and then the 2 slot corners and then the 2 linebackers. And then you have basically a single high with 2 corners on the outside. So it kind of turns it kind of into a 4-4, right? Or a 6-2 alignment, which makes it really easy to blitz, but also keep 2 second level linebackers. In many ways, it's like running 6-1 or like running the dime meta that a lot of players have success with, but you have a second linebacker in case, you know, they were able to run it up the middle on you. It makes it a lot tougher. Again, a lot of players really gloss over G. I think it's arguably the premier defense in the game behind Dollar. A lot of players will tell you that it's you know, going to be that 3-3 Cub. I can't argue with that either. That's another fine defense that's been meta for years. One thing that 4 down lineman sets, particularly over G, are weak to are pulling guards. They're good at stopping zone runs. They're good at stopping a lot of single back type runs with man-on-man blocking, but counter runs and powers are very good against 4 down linemen. So you see right there, after I was able to get outside with that counter, he spreads his line. Now all of a sudden we're in a spot where I'm going to run this stretch. Little hesitation right there, break a tackle, able to pick up a gain of about 4. Again, patience. I think the number one thing a lot of players lack in the run game is patience. I would say that on 90% of my runs, I don't touch the turbo button until I am past the line of scrimmage. You notice I do a lot of hezzies in the backfield. Looks like Le'Veon Bell. We talked about that in the YouTube video months back. It's the number one thing that will help your run game. Now, right here's another run that I'm really starting to use a lot. When people gear up for the wide zone, I go to this particular run, which is called Slash. And it's a run that I had no success with early on in the year because I was running it wrong. I basically was not making people respect my wide zone. And then I would just mix in the Slash randomly. Now I'm like, okay, if somebody's geared up for the wide zone, I would say 9 out of 10 times Slash works. You see right there, I run it again, catch a good block, swerve back to the outside. And again, running back isn't glowing, but it's a gain of 8 with first contact being at like 6.5, 7 yards downfield. So again, showing that it isn't just an X Nasty relies on AKA. It's that X Nasty is one of the most versatile run schemes in the game. You can control clock. You can guarantee people don't see the ball again. Again, I started this drive with 3 minutes to go in the half. And, you know, right here, I was able just to kind of pick up a first down. I was actually content right there burning my timeout. You know, I thought about maybe hurrying up and spiking the ball to save that second timeout. Maybe that would have been a better decision here. But with me having ball at half, I'm also kind of thinking safe guaranteed score right here is huge. If I have ball at half, I could take a 2-possession lead. So again, we're going to run the play action here. I was looking for the slant. I didn't trust the high ball in the back of the end zone. Didn't have the positioning that I wanted. But nonetheless, we were able to see something right there at least. I knew that something I could likely go back to in the red zone later if I just get a little bit more pass protection and step up. That throw will be a completion. I am running this Brenton Strange. I about said Cole Strange. That's the lineman. But this item is good. I like it. Right here, I'm thinking I'm going to go seam. And I almost had him. I almost had him right there. I just need a split second longer. Fortunately for him, he blitzed off the edge and I didn't have anybody pick it up. That seam, double seam combo is something that he's running against me out of spread. And with him being single high, a lot of times that post defender will go to the, you know, one side or the other. So that double seam makes it tough. You could pass lead inside or outside. You're just looking for a high ball. That was kind of my thought process there. So right here, 3rd down and 10. I'm kind of thinking in this spot, I've seen a couple of opportunities in the end zone. Right here, I go to my drag wheel combo. And I decided to throw the ball out in the flat, thinking I'll get some forward steam on the swing route. And Derrick Henry kind of turns around for no reason. He did that a lot that day. For some reason, I'd go to throw that, and he would just kind of like turn around and look at it as it whistled right by him. So that's okay. We took 3 cracks at the end zone right there. I saw what I wanted on 2 of the 3. The third, I was just taking a safe check down. Hopefully the yak would have gotten me a first down with Derrick Henry against his corner in the flat. I'm content to take the 3 there and go into half, hopefully up 3. So we still do have to stop him from getting vertical here. Let's fast forward here to his last play of the first half. So again, he's staying in this empty. Right here, I'm not going to blitz. I decided to just run deep. And you see right here that he tries to throw that seam route, and we're able to pick it off with Curse with 1 second left. Go ahead and fast forward here. And I throw that ball out. That's kind of what I was looking for in the red zone right there, that throw. But at the end of the half, you're not getting much out of that. So go to the second half here. We have ball first, up by 3. It's very important when you play a player like Seeve, especially for me, when I'm, not successful against him in most games, I have trouble stopping him, that we control clock, we control pace of play, we keep the ball out of his possession. An extension of your defense, especially when it's not working, is to control the clock on offense. Pretty common sense. They don't have the ball, they can't score. So as long as you don't do anything stupid. So we start off the half with the counter. Last time it went for a huge gain. Right there, we picked up another 9. Again, first contact, 7, 8, 9 yards downfield. It's about calling the right runs against the right fronts. It's not about having a glowing running back. In terms of like run pass ratio in this game, we took 3 shots at the end zone through the air before half. It's still very much so a run focused attack. Right there, phenomenal gap shoot. That's where Henry will bail you out. Great gap shoot, broke the tackle, still picked up a first down. I understand those, right? A lot of people complain about that element of the game. And I agree. To be totally honest. Good gap shoots ought to be rewarded. But nonetheless, that was the first time he really did a good job shooting gap on this. So I'm not shied away from my run scheme. He might be able to shoot one run, but can he shoot the run going to the other side? Can he stop the complementary runs like the counter and the slash and things like that we will utilize to try to, be able to keep him off balance. Right here, again, he's kind of still showing the show blitz. This looks like an 8-man box, but again, this is, to me, the best run scheme in the game. It's not scaring me. In a lot of cases, they are blitzing that slot corner. Much better run defense there because he set that edge with him, made me bounce it back inside. His user did a good job filling the B gap alleyway, and it sets up a 3rd down and 7 for me. So here we go, 3rd down and 7. This is probably a passing down for me. One of the things that I'm not really a fan of in this game, 2 things really, are threat detector and film study. We all use threat detector, but I think the game would be so much better if we didn't have an ability that's like, hey, this guy's blitzing on every 3rd and 4th down. It turns the game essentially, and I missed a touchdown right there, but we threw that check down again. You see that's a weapon for me. That short side swing is one of my favorite routes in the game. I probably steal 2 first downs a game throwing with that particular route to the short side of the field. But again, you do see I had a touchdown down the left sideline that I passed up on. And part of that is that he's been doing a good job blitzing his corners. You'll notice throughout the game, especially on 3rd and 4th down, that he'll blitz his corners late in the clock. So it puts me in a spot where I'm not 100% certain that the threat detector is not lying to me because he'll switch it up. And right here, we get a poke fumble. And you see that Kevin Carter returns it for a touchdown, and now Seeve is up. Unfortunate, man. When you're running the ball for almost 10 a pop, I think we were before that run 8 for 81. That's tough, man. It's hard to not run the ball when you're running it for 10 a pop, but when something like that happens, it puts you in a bad spot. So Seeve is able to capitalize on the poke fumble. I had the fumble 6 to start the game on the Avalanche. One of the things that I told my chat, I was like, I get a lot more tilted by a poke fumble than an Avalanche because I can always check the AP before the game and see where my opponent's avalanches are and avoid them or put the correct players in to avoid them. Poke fumbles just happen. And, it's just unfortunate, right? But got to fight through the adversity here. So we're right back to work here. X nasty, strange emotion, short side, 2x2 compression. Again, kind of been worried about his slot corners quite a bit on this. This is a double corner combo to the wide side of the field with a short corner. And you see right there, I try to step up in the pocket. Middle of the field was wide open, and he got a shed from his defensive tackle. Kevin Carter having a good good series here. The scoop and score for the touchdown, the big tackle right there that saved him quite a bit of yardage scrambling. But second down and 10. You see right here, I'm going with motion of T. Higgins, wide side. Right here, I determined I'm going to go something short. I've been throwing a lot of long stuff, and right there, I about get a throw out a sack for a pick. So you see right there, definitely bringing the pressure, kind of using the early downs to bring pressure, and then late in the drive, or not necessarily the drives, a set of downs, third and fourth downs, tougher to do the threat detector. You see right there, he turns them off. I tell my chat this all the time: if you're going to run dollar spread and drop those guys in coverage, third down for me will oftentimes be a rundown. Right here, I determined I'm going to run a check down, take my check down right there with him blitzing off that edge. I figured he was probably not going to be playing the flat on that side. He had to respect the deep outside ball that I didn't throw a couple plays earlier. So I took my check down to make fourth down and 3 manageable. You see right here, again, he's manning up that corner on the right. When that exclamation point disappears, that tells me that he's in coverage. You see right here that 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4. We do decide to snap the ball here, and we were able to catch him. Busted coverage, drag wheel turns up the field, and we're able to lob it up for the touchdown. CeeDee Lamb finds the end zone. I'm not a pure passer. I'm a timely passer, right? I use the run game to make you do things, focus on the run. That makes it so it's hard to adjust to what I want to call when I do need to throw. It's not that runners can't throw. I mean, a lot of runners can't throw, but ideally I would like to keep a, like a 65-35 run to pass ratio, because that means I'm running the ball successfully. You see right there, I've got 12 out of 20 play calls are runs. So, I mean, you guys could do the math on that. That's 60%, give or take. So, we're doing just fine there. And 60-40, that's about right. So we're back on top, 24-21, and Seeve's got the ball here, third quarter. One of the things that I'm telling my chat at this point is like that fumble coming out of half basically killed pace of play for me, tempo of the game, because now I'm in a spot where I'm going to have to find another stop in this game, or I'm going to have the best milk drive possible if I only get one more possession. So you see right here, he's going to go back to work. Me telling my Chaz, like, with this guy, I don't stop him well. So when I've got a situation where I'm up 3 with ball in the second half, that's got to be, a long drive and a score to go up 2 possessions. And it's just, I've not been able to do that. You see right here, fumble, and we recover it. He threw the throw out in the flat. We trapped the throw. I believe that might have been a soft squat. Let's actually go back and take a look at that one right there. You're going to see right here on the outside, I've got, let's look at this coverage call. Yeah, that might have just been actually a regular cloud flat. You see that my outside guy's hips never got turned on this, which made him able to drive on that throw. That's kind of like the calling card of this offense, is that you kind of have to turn the hips of that outside corner in order to throw the ball out in the flat. When you can't do that, he's going to be able to drive on those throws. So we're able to get our fumble back. And now we've got the ball once again up 3 deep in the third quarter. So we're right back into that situation technically that I talked about. It's like, I want to be up 3, have a long drive to start the second half and go up 2 possessions. That's kind of where we're at. I mean, it's been a weird route getting there, but it is where we're at. You see Derrick Henry fighting, falling forward, 13 rushes, 91 yards here. So, doing pretty well as we hit the fourth quarter. Again, Gridiron Gameplans yearly membership. Take advantage of it, guys. August 1st. Please go take a look at it. Did I mention we're also including Madden 23 content? So if you guys like this X-Nasty offense, the run scheme that's in there, if you guys want to run my over G defense, my coverage concepts that I employ here, AP setups, all that, if you want to take a look at it at the end of Madden 23, that's included with the Madden 24 presale. Second down and 3. Once again, in the red zone here, I decided to go with a little bit of an intermediate spacing route. Pretty good right there. I maybe had the whip late in the play. I went to look at the whip earlier, and he had a guy kind of in that area, so I glanced off of it. It developed later in the play. Really the only thing open, though. See right here, third down and 3. He's got that corner blitzing on the right side, takes him off of that assignment. That tells me he is either in a flat or he is in man of some sort. He also could be in a deep zone of some sort. I go to counter. And again, I went to the counter because that's been a call that I've been able to utilize against 4-down linemen. Only the third time I called it, but I've called it so sparingly that he forgets about it. Again, kind of keeping with the scheme of, oh, it's not just stretch, it's slash, it's counter, it's inside zone, and it's wide zone. So here we go again, first down and 10. You notice that once I get down in this area of the field, I'm a lot more on like gung-ho to throw. And I decide to throw the ball away late, and he gets a throw out of sack, pick 6 with Kevin Carter. So how about that? He got the poke fumble for a touchdown for Kevin Carter, and now he gets the throw out of sack, pick 6 with Kevin Carter, and Seeve is right back on top. And go ahead and fast forward it here. I'm down 4. Let's get back on offense. Here we go. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. What a game that we've had here. Crazy game. Two crazy fumbles that I've forced. I have a kick return. He has a poke fumble, a throw out of sack, pick 6 with the same player. Defensive player coming up with 2 touchdowns. But it's not like my offense isn't working, right? Like, it's still doing just fine. It's just, you know, we've had one drive derailed by a poke fumble, and then we had the throw out of sack. Tried to play smart, just still, you know, just some unfortunate breaks for both players really in this one. Here we go, a little motion to the wide side. I'm going double corner flood combo. This is kind of like the tight slots meta. Good defense, so I just throw it away. Really, really good coverage right there. He kind of showed me some match on that play. If we were to go back and take a look at his coverage call. Actually, I believe in this one, he utilized, I believe, an outside third. So if we take a look, yeah, you see 24 outside third matching that. And then you had the cloud flat, the quarter matching that. That might have been my tight killer shell, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Yeah, closed center field, outside third. Yeah, this right here, guys, is tight killer shell. So if you guys want this coverage, I actually broke this down on the YouTube channel. This is my favorite 2x2 compression coverage in the game. Does a really good job of stopping tight PA seams, the double corner setups that people run. That right there was him utilizing one of my favorite coverages against me in this spot. So right here, 3rd down and 8, he's had enough. I've converted 3rd downs well. He shows the blitz early on, takes it away, puts guys in coverage. Now it's 3rd down and 8. He blinks a guy again. You see he's playing mind games with me. I talked about this earlier. He kind of screws with me quite a bit on this. Right here, I'm looking for my throws, and, you know, he's doing a good job. I say that over G is a great coverage defense. It allows you to do a lot of things. It allows you to kind of change windows that people are used to seeing slot players only being curl flats or vert hooks. This over G defense, those dudes that are in the slot can drop into deep zones. They could drop outside. They could drop middle. They could play mid reads. You could change the package and put them in purples or the hook zones that people are used to seeing. So the optics of attacking an over G defense through the air is so much different. See right here, 4th down and 8. I go with a little trail combo, little whistler, conservative catch in between coverage. Important that I held A right there. If I don't hold A, that's a drop. Got to get down. That was a tight window. If we go back and take a look at this route combo, this was actually a pretty good combo. You're going to see right here that we are driving off not only the flats, but if you take a look at this X receiver, he's going to push the deep zone vertical, and then he's going to pull the flat zone out wide. This route is breaking across the field, which is going to drift this zone in. I've got this underneath drag, which is going to occupy and pull this flat down late. And this user has to respect the post, which allows him to fill in behind. So you see right here, as we do this, it opens up. I actually hit this window too late. I really wanted to make sure his user cleared that area before I let go of it, which made the window tight, but we were still able to kind of pass lead that to the right and hold A to get down for a 1st down. So again, it's not that you have to be the best passer, it's that you have to have timely conversions. And I think that's what this allows you to do. You freestyle off of your passing. You kind of understand what players are doing. He's really done a good job beating me or stopping me from, you know, winning on some of these deeper type route combos that I want to throw, the tight killer shell, some inverted 3 type stuff. So I really have to win in the middle of the field. That's really what the defense over G makes you do, is you have to win in the middle of the field. If you aren't a confident passer in the middle of the field, which oftentimes I'm honestly not, this is a very, very tough defense to beat. So Jefferson in motion, allowing me to get back on schedule. He went to that same gap shoot that he went to earlier, but again, his user didn't gap shoot it well, but the defense itself is still good against the run. I think that's, again, what the over G does so well. Me being down by 4 right here, you're probably thinking, Zan, are you going to go with some tempo here, a little no huddle? I'm not too worried right here with 3 clock stoppages and still 95 seconds left at this point. I still want to stay dedicated to my base offense. Right here, I do go for the kill shot, though. It's funny that, you know, I actually forgot that I did this. In this spot, traditionally, I I would still be staying on schedule. 2nd down and 8, 2nd down and long. You know, it's tough. I've had a hard time with only, you know, 1 or 2 downs to convert a 1st down. So that probably played into my, you know, my decision to get vertical here. But the other thing is we talk about down in the red zone a couple drives ago. I went to a route combo that looked really, really weird where I basically went vertical, and then on one side, and then I had a vertical on the other. And it was designed to pull the safety away. I want you to watch this route combo. It's very similar to what he did to me, to be honest with you, early in the game for one of his touchdowns. So I want you to watch CeeDee Lamb. Because we're vertical on the left side here, that safety in the middle goes over to the left. And then that leaves a bad situation for his outside third, who has to cover the wheel on that side. So he plays outside leverage on my seam on the other side and gives me the up and inside lead to the seam. And that's exactly what we were able to do. And then you also see Will Levis getting the throwing animation. Again, if you guys didn't watch the Will Levis video on the best release in the game, that is the best release. It's the best deep ball release in the game. I know a lot of players like Slinger 1, but Will Levis is the best. He is the absolute best. Somebody sheds, he gets that fall away animation. It's so quick. It really turns this offense into one that can attack deep, hold on to the ball longer. And I don't personally think even despite the throw out of sack that I had in that was mostly on me just being so long with the ball before I threw it away. I don't think his short release is as bad as most players say. So if you guys are looking for a different release that can kind of get you some bigger deep shots, I would highly recommend you guys take a look at Will Levis. Really, really good. So here we go. We are 1:29 left in this ball game. And we have 3 timeouts for Seeve, and I'm only up 3. This is not where I want to be. I've had 2 opportunities to take a 2-possession lead in the second half. Haven't done it. Again, you see he doesn't feel comfortable with this defense. He wants to start off with a run, get himself to a hash mark. I know this too. I try to offset my user and try to gap shoot, and I make a really good tackle. This is basically last year's 2-4-5 odd gap shoot against the base or the inside zone, and that works for me. And most importantly, keeps him in between the hashes. So he loses time here. Him stuck between the hashes. His offense is so labbed in between the hash marks. You see right here, he can't get me double verticals. I'm not too worried about it with him in between the hash marks. So you see I don't have any crazy man up, and I'm able to get looping pressure, and his normal zone floods that he typically will run don't operate the same way. So a lot of times if you get a dude who's lined up in between the hashes and on that first play and he shows you that he wants to run a run, respect it, because he's trying to get to a hash mark so we can throw on 2nd down and get you with the big chunk play. So 3rd down and 11 right here. He's going into that quick seam right here. I don't have to worry about the 2 verticals. You know, this is more likely whip type combos. And you see right here, he's going to go over the middle. First time that he's run a shallow cross on me. He's done such a good job of being vertical and to the perimeter. This is the first time where he's actually used the middle of the field. And the reason the middle of the field's open is kind of because he's in a clocking situation. You know, he's you know, down 3, so he's probably got overtime in the bag right here. But conserving play clock is definitely something. So I think he's going to stay more perimeter, not only because of the game clock situation, but also because of the you know, his tendencies in the game. So you know, that shallow cross was open, but we were able to play good defense there. 2nd out of 10, 50 seconds to go here in regulation. So again, he's going trips wide side of the field, motions this guy in. Again, now technically 3 receivers inside the numbers. I have to respect verticality. I have to understand what is possible. So I man up that player he's motioned, and right there he hits me with a crazy good hole shot. This is kind of sneaky. One of the things that some spread sets can do is they can hold wide thirds inside just long enough to get the hole shot. A lot of players run, you know, the safety thirds because they don't want to give up those sidelines behind the cloud flat. Again, the outside horizontal spacing of this type of offense is, you know, why, you know, we are going to struggle with that hole shot a little bit more. Good coverage right there. Switch it up just a little bit. He looked for, you know, the 2 streaks, a little shallow cross. Didn't really want to throw it underneath there and have to burn the timeout, so he threw it away. 2nd down 10, Rice inside. So again, I have to worry about those verticals. I know that there's potential for 2 verticals to the left, 1 vertical to the right seam, so I have to respect it. That's kind of the hole that I have to really key in on, and we get the looping pressure. Right here, we went with a crazy hybrid coverage, and that sack probably forced him from wanting to even try to really take this one more shot at the end zone, and we are basically headed for overtime. I'm not going to make you guys watch him kick a field goal. Everyone knows you can make a kick from there. And we are now going to OT. So another classic against Seeve, another classic. The guy, again, at this point, he is 6-2 against me this year. He absolutely owns me. I really can't stop him. I mean, we're 31-31, right? And we are once again in another nail biter. Pretty much every game we play is a tight one where I just literally, we kind of have shootouts against each other. I can't stop him. He struggles to stop the run, which allows me to kind of dictate flow of games. And then with what little play clock I give him, he always does a really good job of using it and scoring. So here we go. Overtime. And, you know, I've had some open reads in this game. I've been pretty check down oriented. He's shown me the threat of the slot corners, especially on first and second down blitzing. But right here, I kind of, you know, I'm kind of thinking I've got to be a little bit more aggressive. And right here, the thing that I notice is that when I audible to tight Y off, this is something I'm going to kind of share some intel with you. When I audible to tight Y off, he doesn't want to show blitz anymore against it because he knows that that wheel route down the sideline to X is a threat. And I try to get that throw that you know, over the top throw, and it was the quick release, but he hit me. But I'm here to tell you right now, if I get that off, it's probably a touchdown. Between the long range dead eye and that type of release, it makes it really tough. Now here, I wanna tell you guys something. We talked about when I audible tight Y off, he respects the deep ball. When I'm in X nasty, he's more aggressive because he's trying to stop the run or get pressure. Right here, I believe I might be spoiling this, is one of those plays where I'm like, okay, actually, I'm lying to you. We'll get to that here momentarily. This is probably a get back on schedule play call. Let's see. Based off of what I'm doing right here, I think I'm going quick to the flat. Yes, quick to the flat. Again, that swing route picks up a first down. Nope, not quite a first down. 3rd down and 1. And go ahead and get out here. 3rd down and 1. He's showing that blitz again. Right here, 3rd down, motion across. This is wide zone. I kind of use that guy as inside gap pursuit. He's been shooting the middle on the wide zone, so I snapped it early, so he just kind of got in the way, just in case he wanted to, you know, scoop inside. You see how 28 about made that play? That was for that motion. So here we go, 1st down and 10. He's kind of showing blitz. He's got those corners rolled up in press. I get exactly what I'm looking for. I catch him, and Hadouken. So right here, I kind of saved that. Again, you're talking about when he's in the show blitz, he's more aggressive with his defense. So rather than audibling to tight Y off, which I knew could beat that, he was going to audible out into something more coverage oriented. If I could snap a cover 3 beater to the left side of the field there, I was going to be able to throw a touchdown. And that's exactly what I did. Able to hold the safety inside with the streak. And we were up top, deep crossing route. So I'm up 38-31. A lot of players are big on the idea of if you have the ball first in overtime, going for 2. Because if you take your touchdown and extra point and your opponent scores, they can go for the win. I'm kind of the mentality as a defensive player, even though I've allowed 31 in this game, that if I give up a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to lose a game, I just didn't deserve to win the game. So, you know, if he decides to go for the extra point, then I can win the game with a field goal. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, I'll put this on my defense. I got to put this on my defense. If I give up a 2-point conversion, GG's, you know, he earned it. If he can put together that drive and the touchdown for, you know, and the 2-point conversion. So again, here you see he's in between the hash marks. Again, this is the tell that he's trying to run the ball. I try to get over here and set up coverage stuff. I didn't get in good gap shoot position right there. That's my fault. I should have been respecting the run. He hasn't really thrown any of the times he's called this formation. And I let him get to a hash mark, which is where he thrives. So that's my fault. Bad decision right there. You saw I was kind of fiddling with whether or not I wanted to use her peppers. I kind of threw him out in the slot, and I was like, nah, let's bring him in. I was just too late. So now he's on a hash. So once again, we're back into the situation where I got to respect the verticality of his left side, pulling my safeties. I got to respect Jerry Rice down the right seam. So you see right here, I go ahead and try to trap that throw to the flat. And this is where I realize that I've been playing the entire game with a player that shouldn't be starting. Glover Quinn has no abilities. So I put in my correct nickel corner. Not that it really changed too much because he'd been throwing wide open routes anyways, but that would have been a drop on that play had I had the right player in the game. So that kind of bit me a little bit. Short motion into the left seam right here. Last time I did this, he threw an out route. I don't know if I was thinking this. And right there, my player that I put in that had the KO ability didn't force a KO. He was able to convert the ball. First down right there. Good dot. I mean, he did have body positioning with James Taylor. That's probably the ultimate mold breakers Taylor. That has 99 everything. So I'm not shocked that he held on to that with 99 strength, catching traffic. Probably has short and elite as well. So, you know, going to hold on to that the vast majority of the time. You see right there, I moved Hamilton out to the sideline window. I wanted to protect against him throwing a hole shot. There he goes back inside to the whip to Taylor. And now you see he's got a rhythm going. It feels like I'm really on my heels, right? He had 2 defensive scores. I played a pretty good defensive second half, all things considered. You know, you take away 14 off of this, that he scored 17 on offense. You see right there, he goes with all verts. I had to respect the backside seam, and we were able to make him throw the ball away. So that's kind of my main focus right here is don't let him big play me. Maybe a throw out of sack is coming. Maybe he'll throw something into a flat and get a forced fumble. Got to respect his most likely beater. Again, Taylor into the seam. Got to respect that. Again, technically Jerry Rice on the right side is inside the numbers. That'll change how my zones flow. We're going to snap the ball here. Little loop off the outside, and there's the out route. And I'm just so mind screwed at this point. Like every single time I play my outside guys deep, he throws a whip. Every single time I play him in the flat, he goes to a hole shot or a seam or something like that. That just makes it so tough on me. So at this point, I'm definitely frustrated. It's like, man, I feel like I've done everything I can to just confuse him. I've used pretty much all the tricks I have coverage-wise that he'll allow me to use due to his alignment. And you see right here, we decide to go to something in the middle of the field. He actually attacks a shallow over the middle. You see that he's kind of digging deep in his bag too. Only his second time going deep over the middle. We're just trying to outthink each other. And you know, he knows that I'm mixing up high-low on the outside perimeter. He's fumbled a couple times out there. Attacking the middle now. Second down at 5. And I'm kind of thinking, okay, well, I believe I make a change. Yeah, right here, what I actually do is I change up my personnel. I notice that I'm not getting the pressure that I really want, so I change up my personnel, see if I can get some fresh resistance in the game here, targeting-wise, see if I can make this blitz pop again for me. You know, he's definitely worried about it, but there's just been so many downs where he's been able to block it. And once again, he blocks it here, and he goes hole shot in for the touchdown. Again, that's the conundrum, man. You know, if we go back, if the last time I widened my safety out to respect that hole shot, this time I got caught with him hanging inside. I should have taken my safety on the top right and moved him out towards the number 20. And because I didn't, this allowed him to get deep down the outside line and throw that up for a touchdown. So now he's in for the touchdown. And I just tell my chat at this point, I'm like, just go for 2. I want this game to be over. Like, win, lose, or draw, I want this game to be over. Go for 2. I need to clamp down here. So here we go. I decide, thinking to myself, okay, the most likely route combo in this spot is some sort of crosser. He's probably going to run whips, maybe run a shallow cross from the right side. He motions Taylor inside, so I have to respect some sort of whip pattern because I'm playing a zone. He motions him back out. He motions him back in. He's playing my games, trying to catch me doing some weird stuff. I cross-man him. So I'm doing peppers to the left. I'm going to jump to the right here. I'm going to give up the crossing route in the middle of the end zone because I know that I've got a zone over there, and he throws it right into the zone. And I just had one more adjustment. Just one more adjustment than he had ready. And I was able to use it on the 2-point conversion for the win. Crazy game. Again, full disclosure, Seeve has owned me all year long. This was such a good game, back and forth, wild. I did upload a loss against him early in this year. I just want to be transparent. He has killed me all year long in this game. But all of our games have been really good. All of them have been really good. So I felt like this had to go to the YouTube channel. I know this was a crazy long game, but it was a war. Arguably my favorite game I've played all year. Really, truly a great game. So GG's to Seeve. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys liked it, make sure you guys drop a like below, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, check out the Gridiron Gameplans presale. I'm going to get up out of here because I don't want this video to go up into 50 minutes. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get the labbing. Good luck.